To the eternally curious, unapologetically superstitious Midnight Society rejects, Stormy Willow welcomes you. We are the eccentric coots, storytellers, explorers, dabblers, practitioners, and paranormal pupils who examine the what's-ifs, the what's-that's, and WTFs of this dimension and beyond.
Welcome, weirdos, to the Stormy Willow podcast, a lighthearted, balanced examination of the paranormal. I'm your host, Sarah.
And I'm your host, Adele.
What's up, Adele? It's so good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. Just kind of continuing with my Halloween feel-good stuff. So Amanda and I started rewatching the Halloween Bake-Off stuff on the Food Network.
Oh, yes.
It's just putting us so in the mood of Halloween, making us feel better about the world.
Did you see the TikTok I sent you?
I haven't been on TikTok in a few days. I love TikTok, but once I'm on there for hours. So I try to only check it once a week.
Well, I sent you a video where this family is feeling a lot like you are, and they're like, "It's Halloween because we're having a hard time," and they have their big pumpkins out. They have their whole house decorated, like fake leaves. It's really great. It reminded me of you.
Oh, we have pumpkins growing. So we only had one a week ago. We named her Hildy. Now we have 5.
I love it. Our pumpkins are also doing well. So hope to have a pumpkin patch this year. That would be awesome.
Yeah, we stopped naming them at this point, but
yeah,
we have a lot of pumpkins going on, and we're in the freaking desert, which is crazy.
That's pretty crazy. I love that.
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome. That's
stuff.
Gotta be a good sign, right?
I think so. It makes me happy.
Pumpkins do make me happy. All things Halloween make me happy. I mean, hello.
Yeah, for real.
I want to turn this room. So we have a 2-bedroom house, and this room is like my work office, my studio, Steven's closet. So I just want to turn it into a Halloween room, and then just keep it like that, 24/7.
That would be awesome.
Do it. I think I'm gonna paint the walls black and just go for it.
That sounds amazing to me. I would be all about it.
Too. Yes, it's my happy place. So I'm not ever gonna get sick of it, you know?
Well, speaking of other happy places, I think I have some pretty funny bits coming up this month.
I like that segue into that. Very nice.
Yeah, so this one sounds fun. It is Paracon 2, July 16th through the 17th in Ansonia, Connecticut.
Woo!
So, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We also have Days of the Dead Con, July 22nd through the 24th in Indianapolis, Indiana. That sounds like a blast too. This one's kind of more in your neck of the woods, Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference.
Oh, a conference.
Yes.
What entails a conference?
I don't know. I'm assuming they're going to have keynote speakers or something.
That would be, I just imagine waffles. I don't know, a breakfast with waffles and coffee.
People in cardigans smoking pipes.
Yes, a lot of flannel. It just sounds freaking amazing.
It sounds so cozy and wonderful.
I want to go.
It's in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Oh yes,
it is.
Isn't that home of Dollywood?
Oh yeah, I think so.
When?
Totally.
That's just a lot of good vibes right there.
Well, I think July 23rd. Maybe you should head up there.
I need to go.
I need to go. Hit up Dollywood and the conference.
I mean, that's a lot of fun. Too much fun for one weekend, but I'm there for it.
Yeah, and then last but not least is New Jersey Para-Unity Expo.
Ooh.
Also July 23rd. It's in Woodbridge, New Jersey. So some good spooky stuff starting to come up as we're getting close to August, back to school, and then fall. So we're getting close.
You know me. I put up my Halloween outside starting Labor Day weekend, and everybody thinks I'm insane. But I'm sorry, if you wait until October, what is that? No, absolutely not. It's too late.
If you wait until October, you don't get to enjoy all 31 days of it.
That is exactly right. So I start Labor Day weekend, and everybody in the neighborhood thinks I'm insane. But you know what? I don't care. I have to put up with their crazy shit. They can put up with my skeletons and ghost lights and all the other fun decor. And hopefully I'll have events by then, so I can maybe do some even more fun, spooky stuff to decorate. So I'm here for it. I'm here for Halloween 24/7. I want to basically move to Halloween Town.
Yeah, we're pretty pumped. We've decided that Pearl, our little dog, is going to be Little Red Riding Hood, and Nolan's going to be the big bad wolf, so he doesn't really have to wear anything because he's already a bigger black dog.
I don't know what my dogs are going to be yet. I think we're probably going to do Stranger Things again, so I think they're going to be Demogorgons.
We're going straight up classic. I'm going to be a werewolf. Amanda's going to be a witch.
Yes. You can't ever go wrong with the classics.
Yeah, I'm just feeling all about the classics.
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling nostalgia, like 80s, and Stranger Things just speaks to me. So I think Steven and I are gonna do a couple's costume, and he can do it, so he doesn't have to like paint his face, which is his one thing. So he just breaks out my skin. So
could just wear a mask.
But I might have a fun one to do that's different, just for our podcast. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You know, I like multiple Halloween. I can't ever decide. I can't just be one thing. Can't do it.
Okay, that'll be fun.
So, yeah, I'm excited. Well, speaking of the fall and the summer, you want to talk about our forecast, our astrological forecast, that is?
I would love to know how this week is going to go, especially since I'll be traveling out of state for a few days. Hopefully everything will be, although I don't really care. I mean, because it's for company stuff, so it's like, you know, it's going to be just like fun, not real work, like that whole thing. It's just going to be fun. Everybody having a chance to
everybody
see each other
and connect. That'll be really cool. That'll be really awesome. Well, I have a pretty generic one today, but it really speaks volumes. And I feel like, so I've always kind of been into astrology, but I'm sorry guys, it is so fucking hard. Like, I just think it's so hard.
It's like astrology. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I almost feel like it's like geometry when they get into like the angles of stuff, and then it's like astronomy too. And I'm just like, ugh.
I am so into astrology and quantum physics, and I am not smart enough to understand either one of them. I think
quantum physics is easier than astrology.
I think that I told Steven the other day, we were talking about CERN and everything. I was like, I am basically a stupid nerd. Like, that's me. I am a dumb nerd. I love it. I don't fucking understand it, but I think it's freaking awesome. So this astrology forecast, I'm also so amazed by, no matter what is happening in the world, which is like real shitty, especially for Americans lately, right? The astrological forecast seems to just hit it like right on the head. And this one is no change from the others. So I have visited our friends today at yogajournal.com, which is an amazing website if you haven't been there. And they kind of take all this smart stuff and dummy it down for people like me. And so I have literally just copied everything they've said, because they also put it very eloquently as well. So this is from
she's not plagiarizing. She's quitting.
I'm not plagiarizing. This is 100% yogajournal.com read in my lovely strong Southern accent just for you.
All right.
All right, here we go. In July, we enter an astrological phase that corresponds with the dog days of summer. What is it? Fire.
You know, isn't it funny that I am a fire sign and I just freaking hate the heat?
Anyway. That is kind of funny. You do hate the heat. There's more heat in every way you engage with life. With more heat, though, comes a need for clear intention setting so you can make responsible use of your personal flame. Ooh, right? I love that. So, so within us, our relationship with fire will dictate how this month is going to play out for us. So how we handle our flame and control our flame, or maybe we don't control our flame, is going to make for how this month plays out for us. So it's kind of in our hands to set that intention to figure out, are we going to protest? Are we going to write folks? Or are we just done with that and we're just going to sit back and just kind of, do we need to just kind of simmer our flame a little? So that's up to you. Like, whatever, like, we're all pissed off and fired up, but you can do with it whatever you need to do there.
That's funny, because one tagline I've been saying for the past 2 weeks is burn it all down.
That's interesting, because fire is the word of the month of July. So we have a full moon coming on this Wednesday, July the 13th. And I thought this was really interesting, you guys, because the full moon is going to be in Capricorn, which represents authority. And it will be speaking of geometry terms, you remember this one? It will be in conjunct with Pluto,
Okay.
which is a planet that asks where you feel powerful and where you feel powerless. That's pretty interesting. This will be a time to contemplate the nature of power and your attitude towards it. I thought that was very interesting. So this full moon is going to illuminate how you respond to power dynamics. May this awareness help you direct your fire toward useful aims. That's our forecast. What do you think?
Sounds almost like a threat to some people.
Right?
That's the way I take it.
No kidding. I just thought that it really corresponded so nicely with the shit that's going on, and I know I've really been struggling, just like all of you, I'm sure, with authority figures and just like my role and what I can do to channel my fire and not use it in a way where it's like I'm burning myself up, but I'm able to like project, but then also have that release as well. So I think that this probably speaks to a lot of us right now. And I just, just recognize your fire. And I don't know, like for the full moon, I think it's going to be a very powerful one this Wednesday. So maybe just really do some grounding, or maybe just kind of charge those rocks, charge those crystals, do some moon water, and just see what universe is telling you as far as what you need to be doing.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I will be in a different city that day, so I'll see if Amanda can charge my rocks for me.
You charge my crystals?
Will you put them out there by the pumpkins? Charge.
I love that. And speaking of, if you're watching, it just got super dark here, like we're about to get a storm. So if you'll just excuse me for a second, I'm going to turn on a lamp so you can see me. It's just like we weren't supposed to get a storm, but if you're familiar with the South, then it gets crazy humid, and then we get crazy storms. And so weird. So when CERN started firing up their stuff this week, oh my God, a storm came out of nowhere, Adele. It was like this mad lightning storm. And I swear to God, I felt like for a moment I was going back to the future.
Oh, it was like nothing here in New Mexico.
And it didn't, it was just like, it was a complete lightning storm, just lightning. And it was scary, but I was kind of like, I'd be okay going back to the 80s. Like, I would be fine with it.
It was coming after Lindsey Graham.
Oh my God. Yes, it was. Well played, Adele. Well played.
Yes.
So if you're new to the podcast or you haven't listened in a while, welcome. And we do this thing what we started a few weeks ago, where at the end of every episode we spin this wheel. It was like a Wheel of Fortune wheel, and that's wheel, but we say wheel. And it has a ton of different categories, and so we spin that to know what topic we're going to cover the next week. And so, if my memory serves me correct, Adele, you landed on magic.
I did.
And listen, it just started storming here. I've got a brand new White Claw I'm about to crack into, and I am ready for a story.
Oh, I have a good one. I'm really excited about it.
I'm so excited too.
Magic is near and dear to my heart.
Hell yes.
And especially the era I'm going to be talking about, which will be the late 1800s into the 1920s, mainly. And it's kind of a sweet story too, surprisingly, towards the end. So it has everything.
Love this. I didn't know that you favored that era for some reason. I always think about you in the future.
I do, but I think it's because it's that turn of the century excitement that you get from like, especially like
a new era.
Yeah, like turn of the century into the 1920s, because it's all that the world is like getting more connected. Now you have steam and steel and science and everything's just exciting and rapidly like evolving.
I believe that's the age too of like spiritualism.
Yes, it is.
And I love that.
Yeah, so, everything just seems so mysterious and exciting. So I think that, or at least the way it's captured in history, you know, I probably wouldn't like the social dynamics so much, but there's something kind of enchanting about it.
Yeah, enchanting. Well, speaking of enchantment, let's do this.
Yeah. Any guesses right off the bat on what you think my topic is?
Could it be the Fox sisters?
No, but kind of close. I would say they fall into a similar category. It should be very obvious. It is. Are you ready?
Are you going to talk about my past life regression I haven't had yet?
Yeah, I'm going to read you. No.
You went ahead and got it for me.
I did. Sat for you. No, it is the death of Harry Houdini.
I was so close.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. I have my hair standing up on my arms.
And there are some spooky factors, spiritualism, all sorts of stuff in this that I had no idea.
Harry Houdini.
I have to say,
who was also very good friends with Dan Aykroyd's grandfather or great grandfather.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Well, we'll get into that.
Right. But anyway, I digress.
Also, like, his wife is just so charming too, which you never hear much about her. Like, they seem like such a lovely couple.
I didn't even know he was married. So yeah, I'm
she was his assistant.
Shut your mouth.
It's so cute.
That's
so
adorable.
I'll talk about Bess Houdini as well.
Maybe this could be, and I'll shut up after this, but maybe this could be a Troublestone film.
I think it should be, because I am just charmed by both of them. And it's just such a crazy fun story. And I don't know, just so many elements about it I just really enjoy.
I'm so excited. This is so perfect. It is so stormy out here. And I'm just, yes, let's go.
It really put me in that Halloween spirit. And I actually had a hard time with this topic. Then finally I was like, this is the one. So
yes.
Before we get into it, I want to thank my sources. So that is The History Guy on YouTube. And if you don't know him, I highly recommend following him. He's really fun, short, digestible, interesting snippets of history. PBS.org.
I love PBS.
Yes. History.com, Britannica.com, and AtlasObscura.com. So pretty
good sources. Yeah.
So I don't have any doubts about anything in this story as not being true.
Agreed.
So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
So Harry Houdini, who I think is such a household name, was actually born as Eric Wise in Budapest.
Oh,
yeah.
That's disappointing.
This
is like a common name.
Harry Houdini is his show name.
I know, but you know, you're so used to the pizzazz. It's like, my name was Tom Jones. Well, sorry,
Tom Jones.
Tom Jones. Never mind.
My name's George Strait.
Harry Houdini is just so like.
Exactly, he did a good job picking a stage name.
He did.
So he was born as Eric Wise in Budapest, March 24th, 1874. So he's an Aries. So
like Steven.
Yeah. He died on Halloween, 1926.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did, and under mysterious circumstances. Right. So he was the son of a rabbi of the Zion Reformed Jewish congregation, but he was not very drawn into that. He wanted to be in show business since forever.
Love it.
So his family immigrated from Hungary to Appleton, Wisconsin, where he grew up.
Yeah. What a dynamic already.
It's just like, how did they end up there of all places?
Appleton.
I don't know. He had some funny things to say about it. He was actually quite witty and pretty funny.
Of course.
And actually at age 9, he ran away and joined the circus.
I knew it.
Yep. He became a trapeze artist and contortionist.
Shut your mouth.
So from an early age, she's been really strong and fit and has, had amazing physical abilities.
Yeah, a trapeze artist, like holy shit.
Yeah, and he was fascinated by conjuring. Now, what's interesting about that word is I think at this time period, spiritualism is really big, but conjuring is actually more of a historic or early name for like illusions or sleight of hand. So that's what he means by conjuring. And we'll get into his thoughts on spiritualism later because so one of his idols as a young boy was Jean-Eugène Robert Houdin.
That was an excellent French accent, Adele. You haven't lost it.
Thank you. And thank you, Madame Love, for always making us really try. It only took 4 years. So this is a famous French conjurer at the time. So that's kind of his idol. And if you can't tell, Houdin is Houdini. So totally a nod to this magician once he gets his show name, Harry Houdini.
Love it.
So in his early years after the circus, he finally moved to New York City and in 1882 settled there, where he started getting into vaudeville shows. Do you know what vaudeville shows are?
No, I don't know what that is. Let's ask you.
My best way to describe them are, like those old timey movies where it's like two kids like stacked on top of each other under a trench coat.
Oh yeah,
kind of stuff. It's things like that are kind of comedic and clownish. But
I love how like you asked me if I knew that was, and I went to shake my head yes, and you're like, and I was like, no, I don't.
I did not mean to call you out.
I was
yeah, so he was doing like vaudeville shows and things like that around New York. So he's not like hugely famous, but I would say making a living at least at this time.
Yeah, I think it's, side note, I think it's so cool how people during like, I feel like this era and the era after, really, it seems like they could just move and make it. Like, I'm going to move to New York City or I'm going to move to Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like now it's like, well, I can't afford to do that. I can't just go and do this.
I think that's the power of being in your 20s.
Maybe I made bad choices in my 20s, so I missed that.
Because Amanda and I just upped and moved to Chicago. And looking back, I'm like, I don't think I could have lived in that original apartment.
Like now you're like, how did I do that?
Like,
yeah.
The first year we lived there, we had no air conditioning. It gets hot.
And if you've ever met Amanda and Adele, I'm gonna tell you right now, these girls don't do heat. No. And Adele, and it's so funny because they're both Southern girls. Like Amanda was born in Florida, and then moved to Myrtle Beach. And Adele, as much as you may not believe it, we are sisters. Just if you see us, we look identical, but
actually raised together. Like
yes, like if you hear us, obviously I sound way more Southern than Adele, but we were born in the South, and these girls hate some heat like you would not believe.
Especially the humidity.
My husband and I love it. Like we were born in it, we are here for it.
That's
and they are
lizard
just
people.
Maybe,
just as an aside, I remember that first year we did live in Chicago without air conditioning. It's just gonna kill me, but she doesn't listen to the show. But Amanda would put her panties in the freezer and then put them on and be like, oh, I'm so much cooler now.
I never knew that. See, so if you don't listen to our show, this is what happens.
Yeah.
And we just said that Dad didn't listen to our show, and then he called me last week to talk about the show while we were covering. I was like, oh no, like we did a whole segment about it.
Your Timmy show.
I don't know if he made it through to the end, but he's like, I thought it was very interesting that you were covering curses. I was like, how did you do that?
Sorry.
I meant to tell you that. We're like, he never listens to the show. So Amanda will probably listen to this one. Sorry, Amanda. But yeah, I remember, like, I didn't really think the heat would be a big deal for you guys either because of where you're from. I'm like, that'll be fine. But it does get hot in Chicago. And you forget that like most of those buildings don't have central air.
Yeah.
And so it's really hot. Like you don't really get a lot of relief. Steve and I loved it. Now in the winter, I almost died.
Yeah.
In May, I almost died. You remember Mother's Day when Mom and I came to see you? Like you were in a t-shirt and we had like our jackets on and a scarf. We're like, It's 58 degrees out here.
It's like, I know, it feels wonderful.
It's awful. It's already like almost 80s in South Carolina by then. So,
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. So continue. So he moves from Appleton, Wisconsin to New York City. Just up the
after
joining
he was
the
traveling
circus
with
at
the
9.
circus for a while. So
I mean, joining the circus at 9. Can you imagine how you were at 9? And you just up and join the circus.
That would have been amazing. I would have been a lion tamer, but I wouldn't have been like mean to him.
You wouldn't have been alive right now, Jeff.
Everybody died like really young back then.
I mean, I guess if you're gonna go out
with a tiger.
I mean, yeah, you would have done it. I could have definitely seen you joining the circus at 9.
Oh yeah, with my little cowboy boots.
Yes.
Yeah, I would have done it.
You would have been great. I would have missed you. I would have been
going to see my shows.
I would have been your agent.
And hello, magic.
Adele did go through a magic phase. She was really good at it.
I got really good at it. But anyway, not nearly as good as Harry Houdini. See, I brought it right back.
Right back. Good.
And then, so that was in 1882 when he moved to New York City. So he's doing vaudeville shows. And then in 1894, he marries Wilhelmina Beatrice Rayner, better known as Bess Houdini. So Beatrice, Bess, that's also her stage name. So he always called her Bess.
I like her already.
And she served as his stage assistant.
So sweet.
And first off, a little bit about Bess, because I feel like she was horribly undercovered, but she had very much had a career of her own before and after his death. And seemed like a really cool performer herself.
Cool.
So she was born January 23rd, 1876, and died in 1943. So she was an Aquarius.
I was about to say, she's an Aquarius.
And
nice.
she was born in Brooklyn girl. So she met Harry's brother, Theo, while she was performing in a song and dance act called the Floral Sisters at Coney Island.
Oh.
Which already isn't that just like painting a picture?
Yeah, like my mind is already... We're covering this. Our next venture, in case you missed last week's episode, is we're going to start our own recording studio called Troublestone, and I'm seeing this one. Yeah.
And yes, so she caught Theo's eye, and he tried courting her, but she fell for Harry.
Also, such a cute name, little Theo.
Yeah. So she and Harry, they actually seemed to have a very lovely relationship, and they actually never had children, which seemed kind of odd, I guess, at this
especially
time
for that
period,
time,
right? A niece later said that she wasn't able to have kids, but I think it's so cool, their relationship anyway. Like, I just don't know if their lifestyle would have accommodated children. So
yeah.
People make assumptions that everybody then wanted children. I don't know if they did or not.
Which was very progressive for them, because like Steve and I don't have children, and it's 2022, and I feel like finally at 40 people have stopped fucking asking me, like, is there something wrong with you?
Yeah, right. And
I'm not in the circus, so I don't know.
So it sounds like they kind of had their own little exciting life of like traveling and doing these like magic shows and things like that. And she also watched over their mini pets and did the costume designs for their acts. Aww. So she was like totally a part of it. And in their early days, they both performed as the Houdinis before he got big. It was just
that is precious. Oh my God. Okay. I love Bess and Harry so much.
I love them so much. Oh, you should Google them. They're like
I'm Googling them. I gotta see Bess. I bet
Harry and Bess Houdini.
Oh my God.
So this is still their early years continued. So he and Bess performed, like I said, as the Houdinis until he hit it big. So one of the times that he hit it big was actually in Kansas. He was starting to become known as a really fantastic escape artist.
So cute.
Yeah, they're like a totally adorable couple. And
they just kind of like favor each other. Like they're just like meant to be. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this on the screen.
We'll definitely post pictures.
But they're just...
I think that's his mom in the picture as well. Harry's mom.
But I just think it's so cool that they just really complement one another.
Yeah, like she totally seems just as awesome as he does. But
yeah, like power couple right there.
You just never really hear about her.
I've never heard of her. I'm so ashamed to say.
She was apparently very talented.
Wow.
And where was it? Oh yeah, so he kind of got his big break after escaping handcuffs at a show in Kansas. So he would bring people from the audience. He was like, tie me up, like challenge me. So he would even be like tied up in a bag, put in like a cabinet and still escape it. Like he was just
Oh
a
my God.
really good escape artist.
I could see, who he reminds me of? Reminds me of Little Herman Lee.
Oh, I bet.
Houdini.
Actually, you know what? In my research, there is a magician called the Herman the Great.
And he lives right here, reincarnated in Rockville, South Carolina, my friends. Herman, real quick, is my dog, my baby boy, and he's 14. But when he was little, we took him to PetSmart because that's like all we could afford at the time. So he needed a lot. And I get a call like 3 minutes later to come and get him because he has escaped the crate and has gotten all the other dogs out of the crate and they're running around the store. So he literally can get out of anything.
He really is a Houdini.
He is the Houdini and he is so fun. So anyway, sorry, I digress. Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. But it was at this show in Kansas where he was finally named the Handcuff King because one of the people in the audience was the sheriff. And the sheriff came on stage and handcuffed him. And he even was like, if I put these on, you'll never get loose. So
yeah.
Handcuffed and then put in a cabinet and then voila, like he's out. And everybody's like, how did you do that? So yeah, that's whenever he started like hitting it big. And that even made, I think, like the New York Times or New York Post, don't quote me on that, some New York like big paper at the time. So then around 1900, like he really gets big and he even starts doing a European tour. So
wow.
And he's really there again known for his daring tricks, escape artistry, and his physical feats. So kind of that stuff from the circus. Like he's always been in really good shape. He was a contortionist, for crying out loud. So he's really good at escaping things, but he's also very smart and he just naturally knows how to pick locks and get out of things.
That's pretty crazy.
So let's see. So yeah, on his European tour, he escaped from places like Scotland Yard.
Oh my gosh.
All of these prisons that were supposedly like inescapable. And he just kept upping the ante from there with his escape tricks and making them more dangerous and more daring.
Can you imagine the pressure?
Yeah.
I cannot.
I mean, this is just one example of 15 years later in 1915, he nearly suffocated during a stunt in which he was shackled and buried under 6 feet of dirt.
No. Can you imagine what Bess was thinking during these crazy stunts? She was probably like, oh God.
She's like, well, at least I have all these pets.
I guess. I mean.
She's funny. She's going to come back. She seemed like a fun little firecracker of a lady.
Oh my God.
And then he also performed his illusions in movies between 1916 and 1923, which is really, really smart. So
yes,
actually a part of my kind of like looking at other magicians, one thing that actually kind of killed magic shows was movies. So whenever movies really in Hollywood really started taking over, a lot of magicians that were doing like traveling shows across the country and across the world kind of lost their careers.
I feel like he was very smart and that he like basically took his magic and became like maybe the first ever stunt man, if you will.
Yeah,
to make some money and a name for himself.
Yeah, because actually at around the same time, Howard Thurston, I bet you haven't heard of him unless you're into magic. Most of us haven't. He was actually the biggest magician in the US, but he was not in movies. And movies ended his career and he's lost to history because of movies.
Wow. I never really thought about that, but that makes sense.
He was like, I don't remember his name, but he did all these great card tricks.
Oh man. I bet there were a ton of amazing like magicians like that lost out to movies. But then it's like the movies are new when they're excited, and then like the way that, entertainment kind of changes. Kind of like I feel like we're going through that now with like streaming and like sitcoms, totally. Like how things are like dumped into like a streaming thing and you don't have to wait week after week for a new episode. So yeah, it feels like that was kind of what was going on there. So yeah, he's very forward thinking.
Exactly. We were just rewatching the series Face Off, where it's like makeup challenges on the sci-fi
yeah.
And you guys love stage that. Makeup. And we were like, that era is just gone. That was like our generation, and like they don't do that. Like you don't group watch. And it was just really funny. They're like, if you like Nicole's makeup, text this number, and it's just like, I did vote for Nicole.
Everything is so different now.
It's just
kind of like
that
the
doesn't
star
exist
search.
anymore.
Like you would call in, to do your stars, like how many stars you thought. Yeah. Times are changing. So yeah, I guess nothing new, but good for Houdini though. Like knowing we may have never heard of him.
Kind of the turn of the century. Like it's kind of interesting. The history really does repeat itself.
It really does.
But this might be where he screws up, and might be a theory on what killed him. We don't know. Okay. Now there are conspiracy theories. Some of them are simple with it was something medical. Some believe it was a conspiracy and he was murdered.
Ooh.
And those who believe he was murdered is because of this. Now, you kind of brought up spiritualists earlier and spiritualism. Yeah. So spiritualism in the US peaked between 1840 and the 1920s. Now, through much of the 1920s, Houdini put spiritualism on blast. He was on a mission to debunk it and expose some of the most famous psychics and mediums at that time as frauds.
I remember this when we covered Dan Aykroyd.
Yes, he really did not like spiritualism. And, to me, that was kind of surprising, thinking like magician, but I kind of understand it. He thinks that they're like charlatans kind of preying on people who are in vulnerable states, especially through seances of lost loved ones. And he thinks they're being kind of predatory.
Like, I'm with you. Like, I think, when you think about it, you're like, oh, he'd be all on board. But then it's like he sees like the rabbit behind the hat. Like he knows the tricks.
Exactly.
And so I guess maybe he feels like I still do believe in spiritualism. Like, I just can't let it go. But I bet he sees people that are using it
as frauds.
To hurt people as frauds. Yeah.
Do hold on to that spiritualism piece with him, though, because I think, like us, there was this tiny little thread of him that really wanted to believe it. But he was more like, I'm a really good magician, and I already know your tricks that you're doing. I know it's not real.
Damn it, he's not wrong.
He was completely open to, if you can show me something that's indisputable, I will shut up. Was kind of where he was.
Okay.
But he also wrote some books around that time. So he wrote Miracle Mongers and their methods in 1920.
Have you ever read any of his books?
I'm going to now.
I think I want to as well.
We need to make a book club and like reading list.
Let's do it. Yes.
So that'll come on our website later. I'll make a reading list.
Okay, I'm writing this down. Stormy Willow Book Club.
Yes. He also wrote A Magician Among the Spirits in 1924. Ooh. So, I think he was very wise to. It'd be great if I'm open to you guys actually being true, but no, you're a fraud. Like I can do that. And I'm not a psychic.
I'm with him though. Like, I don't want to not believe it, but I get it.
Yes. So then shit kind of hits the fan February 26, 1926.
Okay.
So if you remember the year 1926, that's the year he dies.
Right on Halloween.
Yes. So February 26th, Harry testified before a subcommittee of the U.S. Congress for 4 days.
What?
And the topic was him supporting a House Resolution Bill 8989, which would ban fortune telling in the Washington, D.C. City area.
No. Oh, God. Okay. Yes. Oh, shit.
So he's on the stand there, and he even went on to claim that America's elected officials were taking advice from charlatans, pretty much, and this put the nation in danger.
They did. We've covered that.
Now, mind you, there were many mediums, psychics, and astrologers present in the chamber at the same time to oppose this bill, including a woman named Madame Marcia. So this is just like him on the stand telling everybody they're full of shit, and then like hearing it, and then like one guy even almost punched him in the face. The police were called several times over these 4 days.
He's like, try to cuff me.
Right? Good luck.
Like, we can't cuff him. Like, he's gonna have to just go on somewhere.
So, and I bring up Madame Marcia because she's going to be important right now.
Okay.
So she was a psychic advisor to many of the politicians and their wives, including President Warren G. Harding's wife, Florence, who was the prior president at this time. So it's like 6 years prior, I think. And she's present at this hearing and like really like kind of towing like off with Harry Houdini. So in the heat of it, like you can imagine, like it's just a mess. And whenever they have like breaks, they're all in the halls together, for recess.
Awkward.
And kind of in the heat of it, Houdini waved $10,000 cash, and he's like egging on the mediums, and he says, "Show me a single verifiable, psychic phenomenon, and you get the $10,000." Madame Marcia says, "The money belongs to me." Like most of them aren't taking the bait. He's kind of like baiting them. And
Madame Marcia.
She's like, "I foresaw Warren G. Harding's election and death," which she supposedly did. She supposedly gave this reading to Florence, his wife, but it was 6 years prior to like Harry Houdini being here. So of course she didn't get the money, but that like makes all the spiritualists there like applaud, and they're like, "Yeah, go Madame Marcia. That's right. She knows what she's doing. She can predict the future, And then she brought up another prophecy.
Oh no.
She said to Houdini he would be dead by November.
Oh no, she didn't.
Was she wrong? No, he died Halloween.
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps. So
did she get the $10,000?
No, he was like, "No, you can't prove that." He was like, "You don't get the $10,000. Just shut up and sit down."
I'm surprised that you want to see a card trick.
Also, like the politicians were kind of just laughing at all this, and it became like a media frenzy. Harry even tried to apologize to the president because he was like, "I didn't mean to get like all the way up to the president, like in trouble with like talking to mediums. Like I just think these people are con artists."
Yeah, I see where he's going.
Yeah, and the bill did not pass.
All mediums are created equally, but I do believe there are some that really do have the gift.
Yeah, I think it's very few.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of right there with Houdini. I'm just not so, I guess, antagonizing about it.
I think he was just looking out,
Yeah, but he did raise a lot of awareness, like to the public through this. So then a lot of people became a lot more skeptical.
I mean, man, did he raise awareness? Like,
boy, did
he raised a bill.
He raised hell for 4 days.
Shit.
But yeah, they didn't pass the bill. Like it was just kind of, 4 days of debauchery.
Maybe I could do this like with everything to the Supreme Court. I'm like, can we? Can we talk about magic? Can we put that on the table? Can we go for it?
Right.
No, are you kidding? They'd probably like hang me. They'll bring witch trials back.
Oh God, probably. or just, you know what? They'll just audit you.
They're like, "You're a witch. You owe us $20,000 and you're not getting your fence."
Yeah.
Something crazy. Yeah.
They'll be way more petty.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now that was a prophecy from Madame Marcia, who supposedly was pretty accurate about some of her prophecies, including the election and death of, President, what did I say? Hardin?
Yes.
I don't even remember that president. Sorry, I sound like a stupid American.
I did not either. And I was like,
Warren G. Harding.
Oh, wow. She looks like a madam.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, I would not mess with this lady. We will so post pictures on
she
media.
Looks like, yeah. Oh, God. When you think of someone, like she's exactly what I thought of.
Right. It's so great. I love it. I love how visual this whole story is with all these people and time.
Oh, she looks like she is too legit to quit.
I would not. I mean, I'd be scared she would curse me. And who knows? Maybe she did. Because now we're about to talk about the events leading to Harry Houdini's death.
Okay.
So that was in February of 1926. Now we're going to October 11th, 1926. So we're getting close.
Harry.
So he was performing his Chinese water torture escape. So it's where they like hang him upside down by his feet and put him in like this thing of water, and he's like all chained up. A
No,
piece of the equipment hit his leg and actually fractured his ankle during that trick, and this was in Albany, New York. So he was hurt, but he was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna keep going on though because he's on tour. He's on like a national tour at that
the
time.
show must go on.
Oh yes, the show must." So the doctors are like, "Maybe you should take it easy," but he's like, "Nope, I'm gonna keep. I'm fine. I'll just rest my leg as I can."
That's for you right now.
Yes, please.
Our mom, if you've been listening, she's going to yoga instructor school, and she has some nerve damage to her rotator cuff. So she's like halfway through, and it's like she has fucking busted her ass to get through this, and she's like all like in a sling, and she's still gonna go this weekend.
It's like varsity blues. Mom, don't take that shot in your knee.
That's right. So, Mom, this is your shout out.
Yeah, take it easy.
Whose birthday is on November 1st.
Yes, that's true.
So, sorry.
So that was October 11th, whenever he fractured his ankle. And then on October 22nd, we're getting close, he traveled on his tour to Montreal and gave a lecture at McGill University. Now, some accounts say that this lecture was on his topic of exposing fake mediums and spiritualists, but I'm not really sure. It could have been, maybe that was like blurred in there. Maybe it was just about illusions. I don't know. But he gave a lecture at that university. And then he invited some of the college kids to come to his dressing room a few days later. So I think he did a performance earlier that day, then lectured.
Cool is that?
He was like, yeah, why don't you come hang out with me in my dressing room before the next performance?
That's pretty cool. I would love to see Harry Houdini at my college.
Oh man, that'd be so cool. So some of the college students are there and hanging out with him, and he's laying on a couch resting his ankle since it's still hurting. And they were all just, chatting casually. And then
hanging out with Harry, as you do.
Totally. And then this guy, J. Gordon Whitehead, arrives. And then he asked Houdini if he would this is just like such an awkward interaction. I guess a lot of people are asking him about his claims and stuff, though. Like, I don't know what the conversations are. So I don't know.
That's true, because it's probably like, still fresh in the media, if you will. I mean, it was just that late winter, early spring. So I get it. Yeah.
And I guess you're asking him about like a lot of his physical feats and things like that. So maybe it's not such an awkward question, because Whitehead asked him if it's true that he could withstand hard punches to his stomach. Now, remember I said, like, throughout the circus and stuff, he does like crazy physical stuff.
Yeah.
And supposedly this might have been like public claims he made, but Houdini, he's still like, reclined in his couch, relaxing.
His feigning couch.
And he says, the rumors are true. And then according to a witness, Sam, I just imagine him just being like, yeah, I'm awesome.
Give me your best shot, bud.
Yeah. And then according to a witness there, Sam Smilovitz, Whitehead suddenly just punches Houdini in the stomach really hard 4 or 5 times. So
see, that is such like a flounder move or something, like from what is that movie? Animal House.
Oh, Animal House. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
Like some douche, like some like guy like from Animal House, like just meeting Harry Houdini. And it's like, is it true what they said? You could take a punch and then comes up and like punches it.
This white balls.
I was thinking like Myrtle Beach because of the wave, and then I was thinking Animal House and this whole scene with Harry Houdini. I don't.
So you picture some guy in like a sweatshirt who has like ripped off sleeves that's Canadian, walking in and punching Harry Houdini while he's like resting on the couch.
Yes. Well, did you say they were in Montreal?
Yeah, they're in Canada.
Well, there you go. Yes, 100%.
Maybe. I mean, there are rednecks everywhere.
Rednecks are universal, man.
Yeah. So anyway. Poor Houdini. Like, he obviously has no time. Houdini has no time to prepare for this punch. So he seemed like he was in pain, like the witnesses.
He like fucking sucker punched his ass.
It's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 while he's like laying on the couch.
No.
And he's just like, what the hell? I'm trying to rest my ankle before my show.
Shit.
So anyway, like that passes. And then later that evening, he started to complain of stomach cramps and discomfort. But he's like, it's probably because I got punched. Like, I'm fine.
Oh no.
And then over the next few days, the pain became more severe. And now he's like on his commute to Detroit to the next show. He started to develop cold sweats, fatigue, and he even got a temperature of 104.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so a doctor suspected it was appendicitis.
Okay,
and he recommended going to the hospital immediately. But it was opening night of his Detroit show, and there were hundreds expected to be in the audience. So he said, literally, quote, "I'll do this show if it's my last." It was his last. He performed the entire show in complete agony, and then finally, at the final curtain drop, he collapsed.
Stop.
Right? How just poetic is it?
I hate that.
And then that night he underwent surgery, and his appendix was successfully removed. And it was confirmed that it had ruptured several days prior, but it was too late and he had sepsis. So his blood was like poison from,
just like Carol Ann from last week.
Carol Ann, yeah. So he held on for a few days, and then on October 31st, with his wife and 2 brothers at his side, he passed, and his final words were, "I'm tired of fighting." So he was definitely in agony for a few days.
Oh, Harry.
So that was the death of Harry. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about Bess. So this is where it gets even more charming with their relationship. So, as a final test against spiritualism, Bess and Harry had a secret code they promised to use to contact one another after the other passed.
Oh, God.
So the code was Rosabelle, answer, tell, pray, answer, look, tell, answer, answer, tell. Now, that doesn't make much sense to us, but what it actually meant is very important to them. So the first part, Bess's wedding band was inscribed with Rosabelle, and that was the name of the song she sang in her act the first time she met Harry. And the remaining phrase was kind of like Morse code between a magician and his assistant to relay information. So it kind of spells out something, and for the Houdinis, this spelled believe. So he's saying Rosabelle believe. She held a seance every Halloween for 10 years after Harry's death. And her final seance for Harry was held on the rooftop of the Knickerbocker Hotel in Hollywood. And she performed this with her manager and partner, Edward Saint. And at the end of the failed seance, she blew out a candle, which was next to Harry's picture. And it was said that candle had been burning for 10 years. And then in 1943, the year that she passed, she was quoted, I guess, in asking about this final seance. She said, 10 years was long enough to wait for any man. So some still hold a seance on every Halloween for the Houdinis, even to this
we're doing it. We're doing it.
I think we have to do a Houdini seance.
It. What is it? Rosabeth believe or Rosabelle?
Rosabelle, answer, tell, pray. Answer, look, tell, answer, answer, tell. I can just text you that.
Oh,
but that was their secret code to each other. So it was like super like meaningful to the two of them. So that is the death of Harry Houdini and his life and Bess's. But there again, okay, now we're going to get into, I think, the discussion point. So some people think that his appendix ruptured from those hits from that Whitehead guy. But crap, I don't remember my course here. It's been very rare that that's ever happened, and he was in really good shape. There was one report that said such cases of traumatic appendicitis are extraordinarily rare. Only one study found only a couple dozen instances over a nearly 20-year period. So that's where some people don't think that that's what caused it. some people think he might have been poisoned by the spiritualists who at the time I think were known to poison people, like the crooked ones. I don't want to say like all spiritualists, but like ones that were kind of maybe in the mob kind of stuff.
Oh shit.
So the 2006 biography, The Secret Life of Houdini, the authors William Kalish and Larry Sloman, they suggest this could have been a planned murder by the spiritualists and that they were known to poison their enemies.
Was there an autopsy done? Did they do that?
No, I think the family has requested for one to see if there's poison, but we don't know what happens. But so that's kind of the thing. So I think it's three main theories. One is, he just died of appendicitis. Another is he died of appendicitis, but maybe that punch disguised it, so he didn't recognize it, or that punch caused it. And then another is that he was poisoned by the spiritualist that he pissed off.
Two camps.
Yeah, so what do you think?
Because as an athlete who's also in phenomenal shape, sometimes I don't feel pain. Like there will be like, for example, the first half marathon I ever ran, I ran with a torn ligament. Didn't feel it at all. I felt like I had just bruised my ankle.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
So likely Harry Houdini probably had a pretty high pain tolerance, I'm thinking, with his life, the things he did. So yes, there could have been signs of appendicitis that he just didn't really feel, and that punch could have really brought it on, or maybe that punch didn't do anything. Like maybe it truly was appendicitis. Then I'm like, you start fucking with people's livelihood, and you're thinking spiritualism is huge during this time, and you have someone as great and as popular as Harry Houdini making this huge fuss about it. They could want to shut him up too.
I think they said like at the height, it was like 8 million practicing spiritualists.
So yeah, like today's time, I would probably rule that out. But for then, I mean, that's a lot of livelihoods that they had to shut him up,
Yeah.
So I'm kind of on both of those camps, but man, I really wish they could have gotten an autopsy.
Yeah, I kind of, my feeling, I don't, and some people say that the spiritualist paid Whitehead to punch him in the stomach, but there were some other sources, sorry, I don't remember them, but it was one of the ones I named. I think it was the history guy on YouTube. They have done investigation on Whitehead's like where did he end up? And like he didn't have any like criminal records or anything. Like he just really sounded kind of like an idiot that was like, "Can I punch you in the stomach?"
Yeah, just like a dumbass kid.
Yeah. Like he never had violent crimes prior. Like he didn't seem like a.
And it's not like he was like wealthy and like took off somewhere or something like that.
It's like, them trying to hire a Canadian.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think
I can see both sides of it. Like, I mean, it really could have just been something tragic, like appendicitis.
Yeah. And I think
but it could have been something like, hey, you're fucking with a lot of people's careers, man.
Yeah, and I think the cause of death is just one question. I think the eerie thing is Madame Marcia saying it, and then she said before November, and it's literally the day before, I think is what creeped everybody out and made people question the spiritualists as being like murderers. But what if she really had a gift? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like, and maybe it's the spiritualist wanting, like, I want to believe. I feel like maybe she did have a gift, and obviously, if she wanted that money, she probably could have told him something else to have gotten that money at that time. Do you know what I mean? Like, if she seems like she really was very talented, so maybe it was 100% foreshadowing. Like she knew that. I don't know. Like, God, I think it could be. I'm just torn between it could have really just been appendicitis, or it could have really been like, we got to shut this fella up. Like, if he's taking this all the way up to trying to make a bill about it, like, and like you figure people that are really into mysticism or people like deep in politics at this time, people with a lot of money, they could have easily paid off somebody to be like, I'll give you this money, just take care of him and shut him up. I mean, we see how trustworthy politicians are throughout the years. It wouldn't surprise me that they would do something like that.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's so many elements of this one that I really loved. I'm kind of leaning towards it was probably appendicitis. And I think that he was probably just one of those people that was like, nah, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because he did that with his ankle. It was fractured, and they were like, you need to rest. And he was like, no, I'm good.
What about Bess? What did she die of? Do we know?
Oh, I don't know what she died of, but she, like I said, she died in 1943, so some years later. But she actually like continued some of her career. She definitely continued like the Houdini like name and like making sure that like he was popular and memorized, like memorialized. I think she even like moved to Hollywood, so that's why she did that final seance in Hollywood. She opened up like a I don't remember if it was in New York or Hollywood, but she opened up like a kind of like coffee house kind of thing where she continued to do her own shows as well.
That's so cool. Oh my God, I fucking love this story. This might be one of my favorite Stormy Willow stories. I love it so much.
I had such a hard time because I was like mysterious deaths and I was like,
and just magic in general. Like that's such a, I mean, even though like we narrowed it down, that's still kind of a very broad topic, you know? So
I didn't try to do voodoo, but honestly, it's too much of a religion and I felt too offensive. And then this just kind of finally after like two or 3 days, I was like, this is it.
This was so sweet and just had all the elements and then some. And I love it. I loved it so much. This is probably my favorite one we've done.
The story itself is absolute magic. And the Houdinis will definitely be going on my wall of fame.
Oh, yes. Hell yes. I love everything about it. Yes. Excellent story. Oh my God, you really set me up.
yeah, I did.
You really fucking set me up is what you did. Shit.
Top that.
Top that. I don't think I can, but I will spin the wheel and see what I land on for next week's episode.
All right. Can you see the wheel?
I can see it. Okay, here we go. We're spinning.
As she mentioned, at the end of every episode, we spin the wheel to see what the next topic will be. So here we go. Ooh.
Theory.
Now that's pretty broad, but fun.
Yeah, that is going to be a fun one. Theory. Okay. I don't know how sweet it will be, but I'll see what I can muster up. Oh my gosh, Adele, thank you. That was such a beautiful story. So magical and enchanting, as you said. And I fucking loved it with all my heart.
It was a fun one to do once I figured out the topic. And
I really feel like we're really we're still trying to figure out what this podcast is and what the hell we're doing, if you can't tell. But I love the idea of the Stormy Willow Book Club. And I love the idea of doing a Houdini seance every Halloween. Maybe
I think we should do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it for Beth and for the whole family. And
Theo. Maybe he'll even come through.
Theo too, sweet little Theo. Harry, Theo, and Beth, 100%. Yeah. I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Adele, thank you. Listeners, thank you so much. We really hope you enjoyed today's story as much as I freaking loved it. And we hope that you have an amazing week. Find your fire.
Find your best.
Fire. Find your best. And as we say here at Stormy Willow, stay curious and
stay safe.
Bye, you weirdos.
Bye.